Down these two cam pulley bolts, and at the same time I need to put on the cam belt as well. So one of the first things I'm going to do is place this in here. This is a cam locking device, and then all I need to do really is put a 14mm on here, spin that over a bit, and a 14mm on here. They're both single hex, and I should be able to slide this cam locking device in here. It's pretty close. There we go. Now that's in there, you can obviously take that apart, and then I can do up these two 14mm because they'll lock together and won't be able to move. I forgot to put the bit of plastic behind the cam gears, which isn't really too much of a nightmare. All I need to do is, I've used this locking tool here, I'll undo both the cam gears, take them off, and then place the bit of plastic on. Right, this has got an old seal in here. I'm just going to pull that out and replace it with another one. So new gasket is in, and then I'm just going to place it in just with the single bolt to begin with. There, and this goes over. Now the cam gear's going back on with this little piece. If I didn't want to do this all again, I obviously would have just threaded the whole cam through this cover, and that would have been considerably easier. But who wants to do it the easy way all the time? And then you can just get these two 14mm that I just took out before. I'm going to just put this in here now. Like that. Quickly do that. I've got 56 Nm on the torque wrench. That's that one. And because they're locked together, it just means that you can do this without anything spinning. You'll see here I've got the line, which is in line with the little arrow here, which means the engine's in TDC, or top dead center. You see I've got the cam gears aligned because they've got the little tool there by ASP, but you can get lots of different ones of these. So we know everything's, these are correct, so these are both up. That's in TDC. One thing I wanted to quickly check was that these little Allen bolts are actually at least tight. I found a spec somewhere, it says 10 feet-pounds. That's for a different brand, but I can imagine it's kind of similar. It's 13.5 Newton meters, and it's a 5mm Allen drive. I just want to check that they're tight, really. Well, it's lucky I did that. So yeah, it's 13.5 Newton meters. Hasn't snapped anything, but the main thing is just make sure they're tight, because if they're just loose so you can set it all up, then that could move. Well, I don't know, it could be a bad thing for you. So just check they're tight before going any further. Now time for the cam belt. This is a Gates Racing cam belt. That's the part number T247RB. So I'm just going to whack that on. So the good news about this is that you don't need to adjust where the cam gears are. So we're going to go here, around the crank itself, making sure that you don't really move the crank. Okay, and then back round here. And then round the water pump. Okay. So that's all nicely in place. And then what you want to do is apply some tension to the cam belt tensioner. So this is obviously still loose, the tensioner bolt, the 14mm. So now we need to apply some tension to the belt. We can just get in here, here's the tensioner. I'm just going to pry here and place some tension in. Next need to take obviously the timing tool out and then spin this engine over anti-clockwise, which is the rotation of the engine. And the only way we're going to really be able to do that is if I place the TVD back on there. So I've got this outer washer, so place that in there like that, and then I've got the little key, place that in there like so, and then you get your TVD with the slot, obviously going over the key. That's that. And then just put this bolt in. This is a 19mm headed bolt. Get your hockey stick in there, stops it rotating, and then you've got your 19mm on a little breaker. You don't need to go mental at this point. Okay, that should do it. Then, as I said, you want to do at least 2 rotations round. I think I'm going to do 4 rotations of the crank. So I can just put a little line there and then do it. That's 4. And the reason why you're doing that is because you want the cams to be back up in their top position. So you see these 2 lines aren't lining up. So what I'll do is I'll just go one more round, and the cams are upside down, so the cams spin at half the speed of the crank. And then as the marks line up, so then get your tool again, that goes in there like that, and then it's the moment of truth, because we want to check if the position of the crank is still good. So the TDC mark, take that out. Okay, clean it out as well, take this off, and you can see we're still lining up perfectly to the mark there. You can see there, this line there still lines up with that arrow. So we're all good. Another check, and it's like a rule of thumb really, is that you shouldn't be able to get more than a half turn on the belt, or a quarter turn on the belt I should say, and that I can't. So that's nice, that's where it needs to be, that's enough tension on the belt, and you can kind of feel it. There's some movement, but it's, you know, it's in the right position. So that is your cam belt timed up. Then we've got this cover for the cam belt, the lower part of the cover, and what you can do is you can take off these old seals. When I say old, this isn't actually that old, but you can take off these seals. You see that actually has cracked a bit there, so I will take it off, and off the bottom little peg thing, and I'll replace that. And this seal cut I bought actually comes with another one of these as well. This is really simple how this goes on. It splits in half in the middle and just goes on these little poppers the whole way around. And just check you're in the back as well. So I think over time they just go a bit hard and brittle, so it's worth doing that. Might take this one out as well. Right, I've got another seal here. I'll tell you what, that kit, you could never say you felt shortchanged by all the bits and bobs. And I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down. The last thing I need to do is just take out this old part of the lower seal. See, it goes the whole way around here. It's a bit stuck in there. Take that out, put a new one in. Right, this new seal is in, just like that, the whole way around. And this is EFLB, it's a Hasport item, and they're just 14 mils, and they just go straight into here. So the one at the bottom is the short one, and the two at the top are longer. And you can just do all of those up. 4 shoulder bolts that hold it on. You just got this little top cover. Again, same deal really. It's this little seal thing that just simply gets plucked out there. This one seems to seem less heat, so it's not usually in bad condition. You just put the same thing back in. So again, it just splits in half, goes in position like that. Okay, and then you can just place it here like that. And you've got these big long shoulder bolts. These two bad boys, they just go in here like that. So we just need to put the TVD on. You see here, this is the little ring I had on before. Just place that in there, not like that. So it's sitting like that. Then you grab your TVD and make sure it just slips on nicely there. Not like that. Be careful of that. Just make sure it slips on nicely. Which it will do. And then you've got the 19 mil. Right, 177 Newton meters. Let's see if we can get it going. That's it. In TDC, if you see where my finger is there's a little mark. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but it's there. And there's 3 other marks. Don't worry about them for now. But this little mark that's here, that's a bit clockwise away from the 3 marks there. You want to spin that round. So it's just coming into view now. To line up, to be dead on. That's dead on. That's TDC. That little mark needs to line up with this bit of, if you can see that now, might be a bit better, yeah. That bit of straight plastic there. That's the engine at TDC for cylinder 1 and 4. Now the specs for the B18 engine in terms of the valve clearance you're allowing for in the inlet is 0.15 to 0.19 millimeters. So in inches that's 0.006 to 0.007 inches. And for the exhaust it's 0.17 to 0.21 millimeters or 0.007 to 0.008 inches. So they're the measurements. Then I'm going to show you how to get to them. You can buy a special adjuster for this, but if you don't have that, which I still have not gone and bought myself, is you just have a 10mm deep socket, which obviously got the hole in the centre there, and then you have a flat screwdriver which goes through, and then you have a feeler gauge. And those are the only things you really need to do this job. So first I'm going to show you how to go about adjusting these. You get your 10mm, like I was talking about. You place it over here, over the what's called the jam nut. And then you get your screwdriver down the centre. And you see there's that flathead screw there. Get over there like that. And then you would keep your screwdriver still, undo anti-clockwise obviously the jam nut, and then you go in with the back on your feeler gauge and you get to the point whereby you're making the adjustments so that you get the right amount of drag on the feeler gauge for the clearance you require. But because it wasn't that long ago that I did this, 1,000 miles or so, I'm going to go straight into having a look. So this is obviously, that was the exhaust side, this is just the back of the inlet side. and the spec for the inlet is 0.15 to 0.19. You can see I've got 0.20 there. 0.20 shouldn't even be able to slip in here. So let's see if it does. I can't get it in. Can't get it in. But my 0.1 should be able to easily get in, and even better, my 0.15 should be light drag. So we can say it's probably about 0.15. I'm happy with that. Then we can go to the exhaust. Let's kind of come down here towards you and then check that, and that's going to be hopefully between 0.17 and 0.21 millimeters. So again, and what I'll do is I'll get the gauges, and if my upper is 0.21, then of course 0.30 should no way go in. So I'm going to just do exactly the same thing. That doesn't go in, that doesn't go in, and then 0.20 should be kind of in the middle of the money. Should have a light drag in there. Yeah, I do. And in here. Yeah, I do as well. So no need to adjust the exhaust. So I've just completed the valve lash checking on both the inlet, on these two, and the exhaust. And then you need to move around to your next cylinders. Now, the firing order of this engine is 1, 3, 4, and then 2. And what that means is, really in real terms, is that if you start off at TDC, which I'm here, I'll just get my light on it, TDC there, the mark's there, then I know if I rotate that round by 180 degrees, so when it's up there, I rotate it around so that mark is actually at the bottom, then what will happen is that the cam lobes here will move round, and I'll be on my base circle of the cam lobes. What I mean by that, because back here on number 1, you see there's the cam lobes. So there's obviously the high lift VTEC cam in the middle, and the low lift when you're on off VTEC, your normal running cams on the right and left of it. And what you can see here is the peak of the cam is actually up here. So when I'm putting my feeler gauge in, I'm actually measuring the back of the cam, which is what we call the base circle. So that's just the no lift version of that. So you're not with the valve actually poking it in. And then here you can see as well on the exhaust, I've also got the cam lobes pointing towards me. So again, you're on the base circle. So the idea behind that is it's a fair representation of the valve lash, where you haven't got the springs, the valve springs working against the rocker and pushing up. So that's why you're doing it like that. So when I rotate this over by 180 degrees, what that will mean is my base circle, which is up here now, will be rotated round, and we'll see that that is in the right position. 180 degrees opposed. So if the line, I drew a TDC line here ages ago when I first built this engine. So when that is pointing down, so again anti-clockwise, 19mm socket. And that is about right. So you can see now the lobes are pointing towards us on the inlet and the exhaust, and it's now time to take the measurement on those two. Then I can spin it over by another 180, and then be number 4 to do, then another 180, and then it'll be number 2. So 1, 3, 4, and then 2, and it's just the same process. So if you're interested, these are the feeler gauges I was using, £2.50, there you go. But you can get obviously other sets, and this was good enough for this, mainly using the 0.15mm for the inlet and the 0.20mm for the exhaust. But either way, everything checked out. I didn't actually have to make any adjustments, but so that's good. Now I can just place the cam cover on. I've got a new seal set in here, or newish, new enough, and so I'm not going to replace that. So that is the last time for a bit I'm going to see these cam gears until I can go and start maybe adjusting the timing of the cam gears, but that's going to happen later. For now I'm just going to get the car running and braking the engine how it is. That's nice, and then I can just get the little washers and all of the 10mm as well.